Welcome to Design Tips and Sips, your to-go show for everything interior design and a little something to sip on. Today's episode, we are chatting with Ellie from Garden with Ellie. And of course, the topic is gardening. So grab your drinks and let's get started. Ellie, thank you for joining us today. Ellie believes that you should be able to grow your own way with gardening services and help you learn, design, and create your own garden of your dreams. So, Ellie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to start Garden with Ellie?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for having me today, Anna. I started Garden with Ellie because I felt like there was a real gap in the market in terms of taking people from kind of being overwhelmed maybe by what they have already in their landscape, learning how to care and maintain the plants they have, as well as how to make and design a new space that's going to fit their own personal style and match with their home.
I totally understand. So cheers to that. So what are we sipping on today? Ellie brought us some fresh herbs from her garden. So we are going to be sipping on some pomegranate raspberry spritzer. Light, perfect. You know, you can grab some rosemary from your garden, right? And it's perfect even where you're sitting outside gardening, right?
Yes.
Just light and fresh. And then make sure you follow and watch the episode until the end where we actually shared the recipe and we're going to make that with Ellie. So again, Ellie, what is your philosophy and your approach to garden design and coaching?
Yeah. So my approach is all about meeting people kind of where they're at. I think when you're kind of in an outdoor space, it can feel
That's okay.
I think anyone can grow their own garden. I think that it's really important.
You're totally overestimating me, by the way.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way though, but I think it's about teaching the basic skills and kind of taking someone from where they're at and having them be able to learn with hands-on coaching how to take a garden and really expand it, learn how to leverage some really cool design techniques to make your garden feel more elevated just with maybe even what you have already.
So I'm probably your target market, right? Because I tried gardening so many times and I can't tell you how many times I have my herbs on my windowsill and outside, and then eventually I managed to kill them too. There is a crazy plant that's sitting behind you. I don't know what's up with that, but
it looks very healthy.
Yes, it's the one thing I have not managed to. But I think a lot of people and a lot of clients are definitely looking beyond. So there's 2 points to it, right? One is a lot of it leads to health and wellness, right? So whether it's spending more time outside gardening, and I know that my nephew became a huge gardener during COVID, and I think he's on Instagram as the Scottish gardener. And so I think this helps people mentally, right? To spend more time outside.
Yeah. It's actually, there's a lot of things that help your health and wellness when it comes to spending time outdoors in the garden. Gardening has kind of been proven to lower your cortisol levels. So that's like directly related to your stress. So it's great because you can zen out, maybe calm down, take a deep breath. And then it also impacts your physical wellness just with spending time outdoors, doing something that's active, as well as when you put your hands in soil, you're actually strengthening your immune system because of all the just like really cool bacteria and natural microbiome that is existing there. So it kind of is a holistic way of improving your health and wellness. Plus, you get to grow really cool things like vegetables, leafy greens, flowers, all things that kind of bring us happiness and also some really good food.
And tell us what's the benefit of having plants inside, because we do have clients that sometimes live in condo or smaller spaces when they cannot garden outside. So what kind of some of the tips of having indoor plants and how that impact our health as well?
Yeah, so indoor plants are a great way to just add a little bit of extra life to your space, as well as purify the air that you're breathing. So plants are great because they recycle the air and put out more oxygen, so we can breathe in that lovely thing that we need to live. Also just brings, I think greenery really softens a space. I think it makes it feel a little bit less city in especially urban environments where you might be in a condo or something. Greenery can really help to just make it feel a little bit more homey.
Absolutely. So in the design community, I don't even want to call it a trend anymore, but we do see a big push toward health and wellness and bringing all these elements. And it's just like, it's not even a trend anymore. I think it's a shift that, especially after COVID, we are trying to be healthier and easier lifestyle and also be able to provide to ourselves. So one of the biggest thing, and even now we're seeing, eggs are the price of $1 million. So, and I do have some girlfriends that have chicken coops in their backyard. I'm not going that far. And honestly, after trying to grow things by myself, I have a whole new appreciation to all our farmers. But I think it does help give you, and whether you have kids or not, give you that opportunity when you grow something yourself. It kind of helps you feel better. Like, that like there's no chemicals, where it was done. You can just pick that tomato and just run with that. Like, is that
Yeah.
something that what your clients are interested?
Yeah, a lot of my clients are kind of looking at how to maybe grow food for themselves, or even just create like a cut flower garden, something that's going to be like a sensory experience, visually as well as like with smell and things like that. But I think even going back to kind of how there's been a shift in just the industry overall in design, that we're kind of incorporating a lot more things that are cognizant of health and wellness. So I have clients that, they want to grow fresh vegetables and things like that. They're going to have higher nutrient value coming from your backyard because they don't have to travel long distances to get to a grocery store. So you can have fresh spinach on hand. You can have things like tomatoes, like you mentioned. In our area, we have a lot of flexibility because of our very long growing season that kind of starts just around now all the way through November. So you can grow kind of the full gambit of things. You're not really held to in colder climates where you might not be able to grow quite as many things yourself.
Yeah, that is very good. So tell me, we also talk a lot about biophilic design. So if you don't know what's biophilic design is a whole segment in interior design and architecture of bringing the outdoors indoors. So how we can incorporate all these elements that we're missing outside inside our home. Because when we build homes, which are great because we have great shelter, but we're missing the circadian rhythm, which means we're missing rising up with the sun and going to sleep with the sun, and how the sun actually changes different levels of heat and light emitting, that especially with LED light, it's consistent light throughout the whole time. We're missing sometimes even direct light. I know we're all low on vitamin D. So talking about spending time outside in the garden versus taking all these vitamins. So there's a lot of things. So what kind of influence or what you can do to impact and bring that biophilic design into clients' homes?
Yeah. So I always like to think about the garden as an extension of a client's home. So it's an opportunity to kind of mirror the natural environment and the context of where the home is with what's inside. And so bringing maybe the same color palettes or organic textures or materials that you're seeing inside a home and bringing them outside as well. So you kind of feel like your home fits within the natural environment that it exists, rather than maybe just being,
isolated box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little too, I think, during COVID, we kind of recognized that a lot of homes started to feel a little more sterile when we're spending so much time at home. And so how do you bring in greenery? How do you bring in natural materials into the home, but also how you kind of extend the home and create almost like this idea of a green room outside and creating spaces where people want to spend time and engage with the outdoors in a meaningful way.
Absolutely. So we talked about, so maybe I'm like one of your target clients. So what are the services that you're offering that can help me vet the useless gardener, that maybe will help me start, growing my own garden again?
Yeah.
Like, so what services do you offer?
Yeah. So I offer kind of a mix of garden coaching, which is hands-on, helping you priced hourly. So it's addressing your specific needs for your space and helping to teach you and provide guides and resources so you can take what you learn and continue to build it on your own. In addition to that, I also provide full service garden design and installation. So kind of looking at the whole property or something like that to design a garden that really reflects your personal style and how you want to use the space, whether it's creating a patio to have a glass of wine in the evening, or I like to think about where the sun rises. So maybe you want to sit and enjoy your coffee and see the birds or things like that. And just create an outdoor space that you want to exist in.
Absolutely. So also, if somebody's interested in your services, tell me a little bit more, like how they can find you, how they can reach you.
Yeah. So I'm at garden.with.ellie on all the channels. So I post a lot, especially on TikTok and Instagram, and I provide kind of seasonal tips as well as sort of like hands-on little pruning reminders, things like that. So that can be really helpful and get some tips on how to get started in your garden today.
So beyond, let's say, just vegetable garden, is there any particular, especially plants that are much easier to grow and kind of set it to forget it? I'm very much set to forget it. Like, as you can see, the plant behind you.
I mean, she's thriving, so yeah, I really recommend, especially for people who want something that's maybe low maintenance and set it and forget it, use native plants. They're native to this ecosystem. They're going to thrive because they are comfortable with the soil, light, and weather conditions that we just have here. And so matching your plants with just the native ecosystem also helps support things like pollinators. So you get beautiful butterflies. You're going to see things like blue jays, cardinals, yellow finches show up in your yard, and their little songs can provide you a little peace.
And what about our clients that might want to have something in their kitchens? Mm-hmm. So is there any particular way to raise or grow potted plants, maybe flowers, or most people do like to have that direct access to herbs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the best way to do that in your kitchen?
So you're going to want to do a planter system, and I would get something a little bigger than you think you need, probably, because those root systems, they need that space to soak up what they have. So I usually will do like kind of like it's almost like a trough planter. Mm-hmm. And then you can kind of do a little combination. So you have rosemary, thyme, oregano, you have your basil. Some people like to do the Thai basil as well, lemongrass, chives, and then you have those paired together. You can snip them as you need, but it's easy to take care of when they're all kind of in one planter together.
Do you have to worry about like the light in the kitchen? Like, do you need to, because not, so people go get their coffee, go to work, light not always on, maybe not always have like direct window. So how do you deal with the light for that?
So if you don't have direct sunlight for about 6 hours a day is what you're going to aim for most of the herbs that we like to use. You can kind of supplement that with some types of grow lights. And there's some really great options on the market in terms of even like color LEDs that are going to have the right wavelength. So they're going to get those 6 hours without having to have direct sunlight.
Oh, now I have a great idea. Can we stick it under cabinet lights, right? Because we usually put under cabinet lights for our clients. So that's kind of like built-in system. So you don't need to have additional lighting system. You just need to keep your LED, your under cabinet light. And then a lot of these lights now are actually interchangeable as far as the kelvins and even different light options. So they can just leave the light on and they have that. Look at that.
I know. It's so cool, right?
Yes. Look at that. There you go. Put your planter under your under cabinet light and you solve all your issues and you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars of growing systems, you know, all these like crazy ones, but because your LED light or your under cabinet light are going to do exactly the same. So you heard it here first. That's why you listen to us. Yes. All right. So, Ellie, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to share that we didn't ask today or we didn't review or anything else that...
I don't know.
You don't know? That's fine. No, that's good.
I mean, what are things that you want to grow? I would love to know what you want to grow.
You know, I tried tomatoes and all the squirrels here keep stealing all my tomatoes. So I gave up on it.
Yeah, it's tough in this area.
Yeah. Actually, let's talk about what actually, because we talked kitchen and gardens, what kind of plants we can keep in a bathroom. So that's usually... doesn't have a lot of daylight. Not all bathrooms has windows. It's very humid, but at the same time, I feel that's a really good space to have to help. You know, we put the vents and everything, but having a plant that actually can help circulate and clean the air for you, that's really important. So what kind of plant we can use in a bathroom? So
I really enjoy a couple different types of plants. A classic one that is probably going to work for almost everybody is going to be some type of pothos, or like you can do like a golden pothos that has a little bit of variegation. So it's white and green, and it's a vine. So it'll kind of fall over wherever you hang it. It works great in indirect light, as well as full sun, and it can handle even not very much light at all. Okay. Which is great. So it's a very tolerant plant of kind of any sort of level of gardener as well, I think. So you don't have to be a master at taking care of your plants to be successful with a plant like a pothos. Another great option is like air plants. So they're kind of succulents, but they actually just draw moisture from the air. You don't actually have to water them. And they're really fun. They have a kind of a spidery look to them, but you know, they don't need soil or anything. So you don't have to worry about maintaining anything like that in your restroom or...
That's awesome. I'll definitely give it a try because I don't think you can see, but there was a terrarium there where I managed to kill the, what do you call
the air plants?
The air plants. Yeah, I managed to kill them. Yeah, that's me. Green thumb, I don't know, not so much.
It's okay. You know, I've killed a few plants too. Don't worry. I think it's all a part of the process, you know? You learn from your failures. Yeah. So that actually brings me to the question of the day is, what is stopping you from gardening? Do you garden? And if you don't, what's stopping you from gardening? So drop a link in the comments. Let us know, and maybe Ellie can help you with some additional tips. All right, well, let's go and show everybody how we are doing, how we made this cocktail. Yes, thank you so much for being with us today. If you enjoyed this episode of Design Tips and Sips and want more design inspiration coming your way, make sure to hit the subscribe button below, and don't forget to tap the bell icon so you can see the next episode. We are planning to have episodes once a week, so make sure you join us. Allie's information is all on the bottom in the show notes, so make sure you join us so we can create beautiful spaces together. Ellie, let's make that pomegranate spritz. So you brought us some beautiful herbs today. So we picked the rosemary, which is pretty easy. It's actually super easy to make. All you gotta do, you need some Prosecco, 200 milligrams of cranberry or pomegranate juice. You're gonna throw it into your pot, couple of sprigs of the rosemary, and then onto the stove. And we're gonna create a reduction in here, and the house is gonna smell amazing. Okay.
All right, Allie. So while it's cooking, you brought me this beautiful plant.
Yes.
Tell me what it is and tell me how I'm not going to kill it.
So this is a forget-me-not. It's a wildflower that's kind of all over the world now. And it's a symbol of friendship, which I thought would be cute. It's really easy to take care of. You just water it really deeply. You can keep it outside if you want. And it'll just bloom over the next couple months here. And when you're ready for it to either go away or whatever, you can either chuck it in the ground and it'll come back next year. Or you can say goodbye to it at the end of the summer.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, so will it come back next year if it's dead, or is that an annual, perennial, whatever you call those?
So they tend to, so technically it's a perennial. In our climate, it is a little warm here. So sometimes it doesn't always overwinter because it's just a little hot for it here. So you can put it in the ground, which can help it survive a little longer. Compared to if you leave it in a pot, it may just not come back just because of the heat and things like that in the summertime.
Gotcha. Okay, so if something happened to it in the end of the season, you're not gonna feel bad about me killing it.
No.
Okay, all right, fantastic. All right, so for the next step of our drink, we're just going to pour whatever is your favorite, or even if you have some leftover, who has leftovers, right? Bubbly from brunch or breakfast, or you just want to finish it up. So you're just gonna fill up your glasses here with that. And let's see, a little bit more. More is more when it comes to alcohol, right? And then let's see. So leave this to make sure that you have a good smell. The house smell amazing. You can see the smoke coming from the from this. Reduce it as much as possible. If not, like us, you have a little bit more impatient. And then let's just strain it into our alcohol. Ooh, yummy.
Yeah.
And you can definitely let it cool down before you throw it. And then just a little sprig of rosemary for decoration.
Garnish.
Yeah, a little garnish. Again, fresh from Allie's garden, so thank you. Straw.
Thank you.
And that's all there is.
Cheers.
Cheers. Until next time.